Hi everybody, Matt here from Matt Likes Comics, and today I want to talk to you about something very scary. The ingredients of hot dogs. No, I'm just kidding. Today I want to cover the series from Gold Key by the name of Grimm's Ghost Stories. Grimm's Ghost Stories was done by both Gold Key and Whitman, by Western Comics under the two banners, of course. It ran for a total of 60 issues from January 1972, stopping the Gold Key issues in November of 79, and then picking up with the Whitman banner in 1980 until 1982. There were 60 issues in total. 54 of them were done with the Gold Key label, and the last 6 were exclusively with the Whitman label. Now there are Whitman variants from issues 10 to 60 of of 10 to 54 of each number. So it can make collecting the series, if you are a true completionist, a little daunting because there are a lot more Gold Key versions than there are Whitman. Some of the Whitman ones are really hard to find. Generally speaking, the issue 1 goes for about $70 US at time of taping, with the average issue going anywhere from $5 to $20, depending on condition, grade, and etc., etc. This is also a series that a lot of people you can find in the dollar bins because it's not extremely collected. I'm not saying it's not collectible. I'm saying it's not well collected. Okay. Generally speaking, the book was a horror anthology. It is similar in the vein of the EC books of the 1950s, in that most issues would have 4 stories, all about between 4 to 6 pages each, and they were more exclusively ghost stories. Though you didn't have zombies, you didn't have um, vampires, that kind of stuff. It was, for the most part, ghosts and different situations. Various artists worked on the books over the years. I use an example here of issue 18. Okay, issue 18 features art by Jack Sparling, John Solando, Louis Dominguez, and Oscar Novella. Each of them did a story in the book, and for the most part, a lot of the writers went anonymous during this series. When the series started, all of the painted covers were done by a man by the name of George Wilson. George Wilson did, for sure, covers 1 to 6. Those are definitely for sure. There's some issues on which covers he did between 7 and 18, and after issue 28, it is definitely done by Louis Dominguez. Almost all the painted covers. There were painted covers right almost till the end. The last 4 issues of the run on the Whitman side did not have painted covers. Anyway, here in issue 18, which is the earliest issue I have, the 4 stories were called Something in the Other Room, The Best Revenge, The Ghost Mother, and It Belongs to Us. Those are the kind of stories. Most of these are ghost revenge stories, and they read really well for the most part. Some of them are a little cheesy. My next issue is issue 26. And it includes the stories The Anti-13, Charlie's Pipe, A Dash of Arsenic, and The Servant of Chan. Now, the Servant of Chan is the cover image that's used here. At this point, Jack Sparling was only on every second issue or so, so they were introducing 1 or 2 new artists every issue. Now, at this time period, Gold Key was known for hiring a lot of South American-born artists and giving them at least a try. And so that's why, as you read on the stories, there's a lot of them with Spanish names. Most of them are from Argentina. There's a few from Peru as well. Okay, here we have issue 28. This is definitely when by now Luis Dominguez is doing the Dominguez, sorry, is doing the covers, because there is a definite style change. I would say it's probably around 17. Sorry, 17 or so. I've looked at all the covers online for the issues I don't have, but for the most part, these are still pretty nice. In this issue, we have honorable. I can't read the second word, but the house that haunted itself is the first story, and it is a well written one. I I really enjoyed it when I read it, and I'm hoping that people out there would be able to. Here's issue 30, another good cover. It's got a very Sherlock Holmes feel. This story, most of the covers actually end up referencing the fourth story. The fourth stories tend to be the main event. Here's issue 31. Now, this issue here, 32, has a fantastic cover, but unfortunately starts to fall into a pattern where they began doing reprints, and this is a reprint of the entire issue 2. Note the witch on the cover. This is the witch that is usually in the cover box at the top on most of the covers. This witch was never really named that I could find, and it basically is another throwback, I would think, to the EC comics. You can see the witch here behind the label. Most gold keys from this period didn't have the numbers on the cover, so I tend to put the little number on a little sticker on the book so that I can see it. This is issue 31 or 33, sorry. This issue though, they went back to new stories. They only did the reprint. They did the reprints periodically. I only have one book that has the reprints in it, and that's 32. But the last 4 issues of the run in Whitman are all reprints. I believe the last issue with new books was 56. New stories was 56. Here's issue 35. Note the large head on the cover. There's a reference in here to a story that covers a psychic. I didn't, and he's a bit of a psychic and a bit of a fakir. If you know what the fakir is from India, there are those guys that did the snake charming and other interesting stuff. And by this issue, we now have Adolfo Buriela, Bill Ziegler, and Frank Boyle doing a lot of the art. Um, as I said, artists were coming and going, so there were some stable ones, but over the years they kept changing them up. Basically, whenever someone was free, this was one of those books that um, wasn't a priority at Gold Key compared to the cartoon books. So it was kind of like, hey, can you do this month, and we'll do this. Most of the art is a little hacky, I will admit, but a lot of it there are some good parts in there, and I particularly like Louis Dominguez's books stories. If you see that he's usually the third artist in the book in the ones I remember, but on occasion he gets the big story. But he definitely did this cover. Now this cover references the story Unbury Me. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys read it yourself. But this is to me was the most powerful of the stories I've read from this run that I have. It's the only one I could say that wasn't like, ah, that's a little cheesy, or ah, that's a nice little story. This one actually was it hit a little home for me. So if you're gonna read any of them, I recommend you would read this story. Issue 37 with the dangerous playing cards coming. Don't let them land on your neck. They might cut you. Ooh. in this story, some ghost was trying to, one of the stories here, there's some ghost was trying to do card tricks and make them fly around, and that's the reference on the cover. Here we have number 38, which has a nice looking, a really good painting here. It's still a painting cover, and the woman ghost on the cover is done quite well. I know it's a statue, but it still represents, because the statue is of the woman who is the ghost in the main story here. In fact, it says right on the cover, "Hate brings a statue to life." So beware. I think Bob Dylan's standing there going, "Everybody must get stoned, but watch out when they come to life." Sorry. Anyway, this is Ghost Stories number 40, Grimm's Ghost Stories 40. It has a skull cover with the guy in the pilgrim thing sitting there. It's the skeleton. It's now, keep in mind, this is all the Bronze Age. So, I mean, and Gold Key didn't go to the code. So, the stories are a little more than just boogie boogie boogie, but at the same time, they're not the highest of qualities compared to, say, DC or Marvel's at the time, especially the Marvel magazines and the House of Mystery stuff and House of Secrets going on at DC. Here is number 42. Now, this one had 5 stories in it instead of the usual 4. One of them was a little longer, and there are two pagers as a result. And I have to say that the main story in this one was called The Act of Piracy, and it's the most ridiculous story of all the ones I read. I was sitting there like, this is just tripe. But it's a cool cover. It's Jack Sparrow. Can you just picture this one going, ooh. Now, this is issue 48. We're getting close to the end of the run by Gold Key. Notice that on this cover now, the witch character is starting to be a little bigger and more prominent compared to, say, the last issue where she was just in the corner like it was a Marvel book. And here we go with issue 49. By this point, they were actually starting to put the numbers on the cover here up in the top. So if you can see that there. So I don't have to use a sticker on this one. This one is 78, I believe. No, sorry, March 79. So as I said, we're getting close to the end of the run here. Notice the orange, it really sticks out on the cover. Personally, I think they could have used a different color. They could have used a nice strong red or a green, but they went with the orange. This cover says, "The young widow was fated to join her husband on the funeral pyre." This one wasn't too bad. And I'm finishing up with issue 55, which is the only Whitman variant I have. It's the first Whitman of the run. This one is really cool. It came out at the time that, and at the time it was written, the Tutankhamun thing was touring North America, just finished in early 1980, and this is 1980, and so that was a big thing in the news at the time. So a lot of stories were done about Egyptian mummification and such. So what I like about this cover is it's a good stark black. I like the sword, and actually the Ghost Stories logo and the witch make a good contrast on this one, and make things a little interesting here. However, this is one that is actually the easiest of the Whitman books to get. After this issue, the print runs gets lower and lower until they get to number 60, which is actually worth a few bucks for the fact that it is a little scarce compared to the rest. Um, so if you want to do a full run of this series, that one might be a little harder to find. Now, unlike most of the Whitman books at that time, those Whitman books actually did hit the stands. You don't have to buy they weren't all in the three bag things, although you will find some in there. Um, they actually hit the stands. They have the full price, and they have in some cases it's not here, but on I know that on number 59 and 60, I believe there's a UPC code. So that tells me they were definitely done on the stand. It wasn't the UPC code that was on the bag. Okay, so this series, I like it. It's a little tame for Bronze Age, but I liked it. It's I every book that I've bought out of the dollar bin or the $2 bin. I haven't exactly invested a lot of actual cash into this series, but I have reread some of them two or three times because I've actually really liked some of the some of them. Most of the art is average to above average, but there are some gems, and one of those gems is in the story that I pointed out was the one that hit me there. That is one of the better drawn stories, the Unbury Me. Um, I believe that was Al. I believe that was Jack Sparling who did that one. Overall, I recommend the series if you want something to read. Issues 1 to 6 have actually been collected and put into a hardcover. That hardcover came out in November 2023, and it's Fantagraphics, I believe, that put it out. So the series is remembered, and the series, but the other two series that were big for Gold Key at the time, Ripley's Believe It or Not, and Boris Karloff's House of Mystery or House of something. Boris Karloff, anyway, was the host of that book. Those two did better than Grimm's Ghost Tales because they had more variety to the types of stories they told, where Grimm's was just ghost stories for the most part. In their case, they think of mummies as being ghosts, which is why there are pharaoh stories. That's not the only pharaoh story in even the books I've got. There are a couple, but again, worth the time to check it out. And you know, to me, if I it's one of those ones that if I get the run, I'd be happy. I'm not gonna actively finish it, but I do have the missing numbers on my list. So if I come across them while I'm digging through a dollar bin, I will pull out the ones I'm missing, because as I said, I like to read them, and it's an enjoyable little thing. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe if you like what I've done today, or if you don't like what I've done today, let me know. Um, what do you think of Bronze Age horror in general? I will be doing some more Bronze Age horror books, some Marvel, some DC, as I go along. I just ran into these the other day in my boxes and thought, oh, that would make an interesting video, because I actually have like almost 1/3 of the run there. Anyway, my name's Matt, and I really like comics, and I hope you do too. Have yourself a wonderful day.